Hello, I'd like to deposit this to checking.
Fate is a fickle master.
What?
The future is uncertain.
Okay, and what's my account balance?
The horizon is cloudy. I see a long, treacherous voyage filled with great peril.
Look, can I just get a deposit slip or something?
A Fortune bank teller. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I see a yellow-eyed serpent and a low APR.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
I met Rob.
You've met Rob Kardashian.
Remember I went to California last year with my family? I was waiting with my daughter outside his house, and he just happened to come out.
Did you see Rob or you met Rob?
I said hello to Rob.
Did he say hello back?
No.
That's not a meeting.
That's not a meeting.
Stugatz.
And Ken Jeong was in the gym with me. Ken Jeong. He was doing the treadmill. I was doing the elliptical. I only went on the elliptical to try to spark up a conversation with Ken Jeong.
That's the only one I believe out of the three.
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's true.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
Mike, Stugatz just asked me if I watch Ozark.
Great show.
How many months did we spend talking on this show in front of Stugatz about the show Ozark, and he just asked me.
I do not work here. However, I am a loyal listener. I watch the show Ozarks because Dan talked about it on this show so much. I even came down here and talked about watching the show Ozarks while in Morocco.
Wow.
And you
must have missed those shows.
It was so amazing.
Yep. I mean, I watched it because the Golics told me it was great.
Didn't you get in trouble, Dominique, for almost get in trouble in Morocco trying to watch Ozark?
My brother decided to get married in Morocco. His wife is from Virginia. He grew up in Baltimore. I'm not sure why they went to get married in Morocco. That's a whole nother ball of wax. But I went to Morocco for his wedding, and I was watching Ozarks on my iPad, and porn is illegal in certain Muslim countries. Ozarks isn't porn, but it's like a HBO style.
Close enough.
Yeah, there's actual kind of sex scenes and those sorts of things.
It would have been something close to porn if someone had walked past your computer while you were watching a sex scene in Ozark.
It's a great show.
I'm sitting in the airport, terrified. Everyone walks by. I'm tilting the thing, but I'm just watching Netflix.
So we spent months on that?
Yes.
All right. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Chris Sims is going to join us in a half hour. Very excited. What number are we on, Mike? 54th? He'll reveal his 54th best quarterback.
53.
Oh, we're on 53. His 53rd best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
A half hour from now.
Tom Savage was 54.
That's right. I'm sorry. Here's your Sports Center update. Oilers forward Patrick Maroon was suspended for 2 games without pay by the NHL on Wednesday for an illegal check to the head on Kings defenseman Drew Doughty. The Dallas Mavericks have changed their Chinese translation of Mavericks from Little Cows to Lone Ranger Heroes. And finally, reviews are in for Bright, Netflix's fantasy action movie about a human cop and his orc partner trying to find a magic wand. How can this be good?
They're coming out with a sequel.
And they're extremely bad. But Netflix's aggressive marketing for the film has paid off. According to The Hollywood Reporter, it's the #1 movie on Netflix in over 190 countries in its first 3 days of release. Nielsen reports an average of 11 million U.S. Netflix subscribers watched it, and that's only the people who watched it through a TV. Netflix has been apparently validated in announcing a sequel.
How soon before Netflix starts fighting Amazon to own everything? Like Bezos and Netflix are going to go to war here
soon.
Going
at it, yes.
I mean, Netflix just figured out, just throw an orc on there. Will Smith, get us the marketing. Doesn't matter whether the movie's any good or not. 190 countries. There's an orc and Will Smith.
Oh, man.
Some of their shows are great, though. Some of the Netflix shows.
Netflix has proven you have Dominique and I were talking about this during a break. You have coaches. You could do this in sports. You have one success, and then you get all sorts of opportunities to have other failures because you get such a creative. Like everyone knows, the movie stars are going to Netflix. Netflix is going to be fine for a long time because people have figured out that Netflix is the place to go if you want to do something counterculture.
I wanted to share with you guys. I was totally gripped by something I watched on Netflix last night. There's this show that's kind of like The Twilight Zone. Each episode's a standalone thing, Black Mirror.
I just started watching
Did you watch episode 1 of season 4? It's starring the guy that's in it that it revolves around is Todd from Breaking Bad in this one episode. I saw a great one.
Scott Frost. He looks like Scott Frost, the champion coach of USC. Scott Frost accepts.
UCF, that's a fun.
Mother.
So this show, this episode is fantastic. I've only seen one other Black Mirror episode, and it was with John Hamm, and that was really good. But this was one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen, and it's a standalone thing. All you have to do is just watch episode 1 of season 4, and you've watched Black Mirror.
Will do.
Really? Because I'm on episode 4 of season 1. Really? And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I love the show.
They're all standalone stories. This one in particular, and there's a lot of big Black Mirror fans out there. They love this episode, and they say it's probably the best one in the series.
You guys realize that for all the people who are criticizing ESPN for whatever they believe ESPN's failings are, ESPN had the opportunity of being in sports what Netflix is in terms of creative content, where you could just keep throwing. I don't even understand how Netflix can throw this much money at things, but ESPN had the kind of money that their programming could have looked like this in sports. Will Smith with an orc doing some sort of sports movie, if they had chosen to go with the aggressive, just flood the new technology market with money and creativity and see what it births.
Yeah, I mean, I could get some of my professors to come and talk to you about those complicated things if you want to have those conversations. But I think the interesting thing about that is there's no competitive force. And I know you've talked about this. Why would they do that when they could throw a couple dudes on a cheap set and their ratings are going to be the same? Like, they keep you know how expensive it is to do something like that? Netflix has to do that because they're competing
that's
with
their business. I mean, that's what Netflix is. Right?
But nobody's willing to do that because of how much you're going to how much you have to lose on the front end.
Right. And it's not worth it. It's worth it for Netflix to lose that money if they think they're going to win in the end. It's not worth it for Disney to lose that money on ESPN because they're going to win in the end because no one is bigger or badder than ESPN.
One of the things that I find fascinating about the business of sports and sports broadcasting right now is ESPN has very clearly realized with a $50 billion recent purchase that the competition has never been another sports entity. The competition is Netflix, and now Disney wants in on the fight. Like, Disney's looking at ESPN and saying, look, you've been our biggest moneymaker for a long time, but now we want to go to fight. We want to fight with Netflix because Netflix is coming and they want Disney stuff.
And it's not just Netflix, Amazon, Facebook.
But I find that to be we've been sitting here thinking about ESPN as having sports fights.
Nope.
ESPN doesn't have a natural competitor. There is no such thing.
No. I'm just reading here.
But Disney does.
Yeah.
Netflix is coming and they want Disney stuff. Disney's not going to allow that with that. Yeah. Disney just poured $50 billion into you did what?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, isn't Disney planning to launch an over-the-top service and take all their movies away from Netflix?
Yes, that's exactly. Yes, that's
of
what
course.
they're doing. Yes.
But
and
see,
shows.
That's the top of the entertainment ladder fighting over the dollars. That's a fight I'm here for. Disney against Netflix.
Forbes is saying that Netflix did over $11 billion in revenue last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's revenue.
Wow. Yeah, they're not turning a profit.
In terms of profit, it's under $200 million.
Mm-hmm. You think they are actually turning a profit?
There's a lot of articles out there that
I would argue that
they're not actually turning a profit.
Amazon's not, right?
They hadn't been for a while, but Forbes is saying last year was the first year they turned a profit.
Can you guys imagine, though, if ESPN, I don't know what the numbers are, it's something or whatever, ESPN for Disney has made billions of dollars in the last few years. Billions. 18, 19, $20 billion. Disney's biggest moneymaker is ESPN and has been for a long time. Can you imagine if ESPN took all the money it was making and just poured it right back into content? Like, weren't interested in making the profits, just poured all of it, because that's what Netflix is doing to try and get in this game. They're not trying to get into a game with small people. They're trying to get in the biggest of the entertainment games.
We wouldn't have jobs. They would go out and get the most talented, most creative people in
That is correct.
Jon
Stewart would be working on ESPN.
Bad idea.
Like Ezra Edelman, everything on ESPN would be of the quality of Ezra's.
It'd be Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Us fools sitting in a tiny room making jokes.
But that's why I was so disappointed by what Fox did. If Fox is going to throw money at it, why would you throw money at Bayless and Cowherd or anybody who was at ESPN and not go the Netflix route? If what you're coming after is ESPN, why won't you go the Netflix route of let's make content that's really different and original from ESPN, not let's be a poor man's ESPN.
You often see, I do quirky digital videos where I dress up in characters and do weird stuff for the Undefeated on a series called Practice Squad. And they're pretty they're very unique and good videos for ESPN. Measure that up against what people in Hollywood are doing. Like, if they actually put the money behind producing something like that, first of all, I would not be the host. And second of all, it would be 30 times better.
Well, but this happened. Look,
bad idea.
Hold on, though. But
That's
this
what I'm
already
saying, man.
happened at ESPN. Bill Simmons.
And stop giving them good ideas, please.
Bill Simmons is the biggest thing in the history of ESPN personalities. And he went to HBO, and that show that he was doing on HBO would have been wonderful here on ESPN. And it was gone with a year on HBO because the challenge there is you got to be as good as John Oliver and Bill Maher.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
Close second, me.
Close second to what? You're
Simmons.
the second biggest personality in the history of ESPN, are you?
I'll eat another piece of paper if you say yes.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is Stugatz the second biggest personality in the history of ESPN?
I think he's first.
Thank you.
He is the most unique person in all of media.
Boom.
Like, nobody in all of media do you see their true self more than you see Stugatz. Like, everyone else is putting on a facade and convincing viewers and listeners that they have a relationship with them and that they know them. Stugatz is the only person in all of entertainment that people actually know the true person. He's one of a kind.
So you are alleging here
Very
on
right.
the radio right now that Stugatz is the most honest person in the history of the media.
I mean, can you refute it? Who is more genuinely themselves
Bingo.
than Stugatz?
Don Lebatard.
Never going to stop. I am what I am, man. I'm 44 years old. I ain't changing.
Stugatz.
Why change now? It's worked. Here I am. Sitting next to you. Filthy rich.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
Dominic Foxworth in with us all show today. Grateful for his presence. You could watch him today, 4:30 Eastern on ESPN. Highly questionable. Mike, can I get a Crusades update? What's going on with our Crusades? We got a megacast on Monday. We have proclaimed Central Florida the national champion, and so we're going to go up to Orlando here at some point with T-shirts and a parade and a trophy. Guillermo, why are you shaking your head no?
I want to see what happens with there's 49 boxes of shirts, what we're going to do with 42 extra boxes of shirts after this is done.
Well, why? You don't think anybody's going to be there?
We're not going to give out 2,500 shirts. That's insane.
Well, the hope is that we have a sort of setup where this would be entirely possible. So right now we're sort of in a holding pattern because negotiations are ongoing right now with UCF.
Where is this going to be televised? Do we know? Like, where are we going to put together this announcement? You do realize that
On
look,
Stugatz's Periscope.
hold on a second. You guys
Really?
you guys do realize, right, that the only difference between our championship and the one being celebrated on Monday is the fact that the powers that be have made that the measurement. Like, it's just as arbitrary as what we're doing. If we had made UCF versus Auburn the national championship game, it'd be just as valid as making this the championship game. Like, it's just a made-for-television contrivance. This is not...
Well, that UCF and Auburn were both deserving of playing in that national championship?
What I'm saying to you is ESPN, Disney, and college football have worked together to produce a national championship game that becomes the national championship just because they said so. It's not determining the best team. It's just the way they've put the structure together to determine the best team, and so they get the trophy. But what I'm saying is it's just as arbitrary as what we're doing. It's just got more money. We got 49 boxes of T-shirts. ESPN has President Trump and Kendrick Lamar performing at the halftime ceremony, but they're the same thing. It's an arbitrary champion chosen by a committee and a bunch of people, and I'm saying the committee's wrong.
Well, UCF chose themselves. I mean,
Well, but me and UCF are saying the committee's just wrong.
Yeah.
The best resume out there belongs to UCF.
I'm not really sure what happened with the T-shirts because I was talking about 2,500 earlier in the week, and 2,500 became 3,500. So either way, it's a lot of T-shirts. But we are working on a solution.
What do you mean solution? Why do you mean that we're not going to get our Crusade's not going to draw 2,500 people who want free T-shirts when people, man, wasn't Baker Mayfield fighting over a T-shirt cannon this weekend?
But this is at like 10 in the morning in the middle of a week.
And what? Champions have big parades.
They're having one on Sunday.
Well, let's have another one.
oh, we're part two?
We're the part two, yes.
We might be part one.
We're negotiating to be part of part one.
Oh, okay.
Well, as a backup to the part two thing. But the part two thing is big and cool. So I don't really have an update there. We're in a bit of a holding pattern, but I do have all the details that you'd want about our megacast.
I think it's funny. One of the reasons that I love this crusade is that I love the idea of ESPN being publicly divided about who the champion should be. And one portion of ESPN going to Orlando to proclaim them the champion because they beat the team that beat the two teams that are playing on Monday.
Well, that was one of the unexpected hurdles in all this. I really wouldn't want to call it a hurdle. There's just someone did ask the question, what does this mean for our whole college football playoff national championship thing?
It elevates it.
I think so.
More intrigue.
Gets people thinking. Gets people talking.
People love to think, right, Stu?
Yep.
So what is the next step with our megacast on Monday, where we will be asking others to watch us watch what I'm identifying as the bogus national championship game on Monday?
Right. Well, the megacast
Good sell.
the megacast stand is absolutely taking shape in that I actually know when it's going to be, which is huge for me.
All right.
Personally.
Yes.
So the megacast will be on during the national championship game. It'll be on ESPNU, but we're not the only ones doing this megacast. There's a whole bunch of crews all over the nation doing their megacast, and whenever we're good, they're going to go to us. So our hope is that we're just good the entire time. But there would be a dedicated channel just to us on ESPN3.
Is there any way to convince the powers that be at ESPN and Disney to simply change their mind and say, you know what, this thing we're doing Monday with Trump and K-Dot, we've rethought the whole thing. This is a bogus national championship situation, and all these megacasts that we're doing for this made-for-TV event, we got it wrong. What a clerical error. UCF deserves to be the champion.
I say zero chance of that happening.
No chance of that
we're
happening?
moving forward with this megacast in which Georgia and Alabama will be playing for what many would say is the rightful national
It's not
championship.
the rightful national. It is not the rightful national
saying what
championship.
Well, that's-
What many would say, the many can go right to hell. Straight to hell with no detours.
You're sending Feinbaum to hell?
That's right.
Wow.
Say hello.
Say hi to Art Briles.
I'm very excited about this megacast, though. No, I'm not sure how many people are going to be watching us because I wouldn't watch it.
Everyone's
I
going
wouldn't
to watch.
This is for the diehards. We're just going to be watching this game as it is live. They're going to let us do our radio show around this event. Normally, they just roll a ball out, and people who may or may not have met before are talking about the game. Our whole cast of characters is going to be here. The game is going to be on the entire time. We're going to be reacting to it, and we're going to be doing shows. They said, hey, do you guys want commercial breaks? Because on ESPN3, that could go dark, and all the other ones do it. I said no commercials. We want 3.5 hours. If someone needs to go to the bathroom, they get up and go to the bathroom.
They go to the bathroom right there. In fact, let's make that one of the rules. Our megacast on this bogus national championship symbolically is if any of us have to poop, we do so on Disney television.
So
and Nick Saban.
There's going to be a lot of content, and there's going to be a lot of show because we're going to be on during commercial breaks. I mean, there's only 11 minutes of game action anyway, so we're going to be needing to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Is it as large as 11 minutes? Does football have 11 minutes of game action? Is it that high? I would say it's lower than that, isn't it?
These are two offenses that love to run the ball.
And college is, you'll have more plays in college than professional because of the clock stopping situation.
But Mike, you're hardcore. Like, I love the megacast. I watch it all the time. I watch that coach's room, and I'm telling you, if Fedora's going up against us, we are doomed. But I watch that stuff. Like, you're a hardcore fan. You don't watch that stuff?
I flip around to it, but I think the bulk of my time is watching the game broadcast because I think Herbstreit does an amazing job.
Is there anything else in entertainment that stretches the dollar quite that way, where you're getting 11 minutes of action, but it gives you 3 hours of content on television? Is there anything like that where basically it's not even that the 11 minutes are that good, but the 11 minutes are the only action and it lasts 3 hours? The 11 minutes. Is there anything else in entertainment that can do that, where it's giving you 11 minutes and it's the most highly watched thing over 3 hours that you find anywhere in television, but you're only getting, and those 11 minutes aren't always good. Hell, Dallas and Philadelphia gave us exactly 0 minutes this weekend of usable content.
0 good minutes?
0 good minutes of usable content, and the Browns have given us 2 seasons of 0 good content. But what else in entertainment is like that where I don't even think 11 minutes is right. The average, Mike, get me the number for what the average NFL game might have 6 minutes of actual action.
Well, Mike was talking about college, which is longer, but I don't know. Only comparisons I can come up with are like food comparisons where you get something that is completely fluff, like a bag of potato chips. It looks all full. You open it, it's all there, like 6 chips.
Well, the NFL is 11 minutes of game action. I'm checking college football right now.
Oh, so maybe a little bit longer. But our intent with this megacast is to give you roughly 210 minutes of just amazing action nonstop and entertainment. Right. No one's done what we're doing, which is what I'm excited about.
Okay. So what about what Dominique is saying there, though? I want to get back into that. Hold on a second. I want to get back into the idea of what is the chip most guilty of giving you crappy bag filled with air? Who is the chip most guilty of this? Find out next.
Don Le Batard.
I'm looking up okapis, learning about them. I stumble upon another animal that is also amazing called a tufted deer. It's a deer with fangs, Dan. A fanged deer.
Stugats.
Are you a carnivore? What are you doing, tufted deer? Look it up. Okapis, tufted deer. Learn it, love it, live it. You welcome.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
I am quitting the internet as a New Year's resolution. And what I want to ask you guys is, I'm not seeing what the audience is saying. Who is the manufacturer of chips most responsible for producing too much air per bag and not enough chips? Who is most guilty of this scam being perpetrated upon the American people? I am not a chip eater, so I don't have an expertise in this area. Does anyone around here have expertise in this area that you can nominate someone or something that everyone would agree with?
Well, when I was a 90s kid snacking on original Lay's, the original yellow Lay's package, the air-to-chip ratio has got to be what you're talking about.
That guy should be one of the greatest inventors ever, the guy who has pulled off that marketing scam. Whoever that was, or the woman, or whatever person invented the scam of, look, it's going to look like a big bag of chips, but like imagine if you went to buy a car and you only got 60% of it. Like imagine anywhere else where you're like, they're trying to sell you this is a big bag of chips, but it's not a big bag of chips.
I feel like the Frito-Lay's brand owns like all of the chips. Like there's a bunch of different brands of chips out there, and you may think that you're not buying Frito-Lay's, but they're kind of all Frito-Lay's. So I think that they by default, they don't really have much competition.
A lot of people have been saying cottage fries. You ever have those?
Oh, yeah. Those rip-off artists.
I have to tell you, I agree with them.
Yes.
Everyone who is sending that in, I agree with you. I mean, the chips come up halfway.
That's right.
Halfway. That's it.
It's infuriating.
Yep.
Someone else made the analogy to a college education. I would disagree with that, I think, but I get the point where you feel like, because the amount of money you make after having a college education, I think, does justify getting a college education.
Ruffles is the undisputed champion of that.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is Ruffles the undisputed champion of ripping you off with air in the chips?
Hold on, they're not sponsoring anything on our network.
No, it's too late for that. Chris Sims joining us now. He's from Bleacher Report. We are ranking the 70 top quarterbacks in the NFL. He started at number 70 with Blake Bortles. He believes that there are 69 quarterbacks in the NFL better than Blake Bortles. And the recent list is...
I love that Bortles is only better than Cody Kessler.
That's it. On our list, Cody Kessler is 71, Blake Bortles is 70. And Chris Sims has Austin Davis at 69, TJ Yates at 68, Cardale Jones 67, Brandon Weeden, CJ Beathard, Sean Mannion, a person I'd never heard of before he spoke his name, Jake Ruddock, another person, he can sling it, Cooper Rush, Nathan Peterman, I've heard him, but only because he's a traveling comedy act, Landry Jones, Paxton Lynch, Matt Castle, Ryan Mallett, just poop, and then Tom Savage. Mm-hmm. Poop by another name. 53, according to Chris Sims. Chris Sims, top quarterbacks in all of football. Number 53, according to Chris Sims, is...
Brian Hoyer, New England Patriots.
Wow.
Bam! Blowing your mind away out here, guys.
Hoyer, wow.
Yes, Brian Hoyer. Did you see the Patriots walking to practice today? Brian Hoyer was exceptionally on time.
That's right.
He was so good at being on time. What happened, Mike? What was that video you saw of the Patriots sludging through practice because Belichick ordered everyone in early?
I could barely see the New England Patriots.
That's
All
right.
I saw was white, which was usually historically their receiving core.
Give him the laugh. You do it right now.
Yeah.
Too loud.
Don't mess with him, man. I'm telling you. I mean, I worked up there for a year and a half, and snow days, it just doesn't matter. I mean, if you're supposed to be there at 7:30, then you better get up 30 minutes earlier to get there. I mean, he literally, as guys would walk in the door late, he would just go home. You have to walk by Belichick's office and his assistant, Berge Nigerian, and they would just tell guys to go home before they even walked in the building.
A, that's an awesome name. B, This Belichick persona is a contrivance by Bill Belichick that he really cares about, because that is true of every NFL team. No one, like, I can tell you so many stories from being in Denver with Coach Shanahan where we would get terrible snowstorms and everyone knew that you're not late for anything. So this is, I nominate this for a Stugatz rant at some point, because Belichick cares about this persona that he's created.
Well, we make a bigger deal about it because it's Belichick.
Well, what are you railing against? What are you asking?
He's saying every team has this.
No, I'm just saying that Belichick in general is quite aware of the persona that he's created of gruff football guy that doesn't care about anything about football, and we all pretend like it means that he doesn't care. But he has cultivated this image by telling us to chant no days off and by giving these press conferences. Like, Belichick cares. He's a diva, prima donna.
But Sims, help me out here. If Brady walks in late, Bears Najeri, and is telling him to go home?
Yes.
No.
I mean, I really think so. I mean, Brady wouldn't be late. He knows the animal in which he's dealing with. So that's why he's the quarterback of the team and so successful. I mean, he's not going to even make that a close call. He sent Randy Moss home in 2007 or 2008. So it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, I hear you. I mean, Bill's a smart guy. He knows who he is, but it really is who he is. He is a curmudgeon, and that's why the grind of working and being a head coach in the NFL, it's just nothing to Bill. Bill's idea of a vacation is like, let me go to Miami, I'll bring my film and my notebooks, I'll watch some girls walk by, and I'll watch some film while I'm doing it. I mean, that's literally what his idea of a vacation, he lives it. It never turns off. It's what he does all day, 24/7, 365.
During sex. That's what you're alleging. During sex, Bill Belichick. I want this question answered directly. No, not watching film. Oh. Well, we may be watching film, different kind of film. Maybe it's that film. I don't know. But Chris Sims, are you alleging that during sex, Bill Belichick is thinking about football?
No, I'm not alleging that.
All right, so
I think he can escape there for. I don't know how long Bill lasts.
2 minutes. A couple minutes. We include the championship, the cheating, and the trophy.
You're unbelievable.
And the sandwich and the cigarette. Thank you, Chris, for being on with us. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate your list.
Chris.
Thanks, guys. Be good. Have a good day.
Hold on. Well, you had something for him?
Did you want to ask
him
something for him? What do you want to ask him? Hold on. Let's get him back on the line. Let's get him back on the line.
Wait a second.
I'm already here.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good news.
Hey, Chris, it's Mina. Do you look like Scott Frost?
Oh, do I look like him? I mean, all white people look alike, don't they? I mean, we have blonde hair. We have blonde hair, and yes, we were tall. I guess similar. Yes, we could be cousins. We played on the same team in Tampa one year. So, I mean, I get you. He could be a cousin.
Okay, very good. Chris, we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Bleacher Report, check him out. Chris Sims, we appreciate your time, sir.
He's good. He left already.
Okay.
You have anything else for him? Do you have a follow-up?
What else would we
can
ask
get him back.
We got 53 more days of this stuff. 52 more days.
Are you regretting this contract? Hey, Chris. Chris, are you regretting this contract?
I mean, there's times. I'm certainly being underpaid for this. I can tell you that much.
Wait a minute. Stugatz, you just slid me a note saying you wanted to ask Chris Sims whether or not Nance got the family anything for Christmas. And you've already asked him that.
No.
You've run out of material, Chris, and we're in the 50s.
I asked if Chris was going to get anything for Sims before the holiday, and now I'm wondering, since the holiday has passed, did Jim Nance get anything for the Sims family?
I don't know that. That would not be sent to my house, that's for sure. I'm not sure if Big Phil, that's what we call him in our household. I don't know if he got anything or not.
Wait a minute, you call your father Big Phil?
Yeah.
You don't call him Dad?
Big guy, Big Phil. Yeah.
Wait a minute, why does he demand that? Big Blowhard. Wait a minute, he doesn't get called Dad by you? You call your dad Big Phil?
Yeah, I do, yeah. What's up, big guy? What's up, Big Phil? Big Phil. That's how we talk to him in our house, yeah.
Thank you, Chris. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I mean, at some point, we got to get down into the details of this ranking. I want to know exactly what is it about Tom Savage that makes him better than Brock Osweiler. But, I mean, we don't have to get him back.
Is
but
Chris there? Is Chris there?
Okay,
yeah. We let him go for real this time. We did ask too many Tom Savage follow-ups yesterday.
Last time. We've run out of things to talk about with Chris Sims. I'm beginning to regret this decision, even as I like Chris Sims.
Well, 52 more days.
Yeah, well, but you've got to come up with better questions.
I do.
Let's do 2 a day.
2 a day?
2 a days.
Wow.
2 a day.
2 a day.
Or how about we do 10 a day?
Yeah,
Well, the MegaCast counts as a show, so we're at least getting one there.
I had a great idea. 52 per day.
Do you guys want to keep doing this for the next 50 days? Put that on the poll, Guillermo, at LeBatard Show. Do you guys want to keep doing this with Chris Sims for the last 50 days? Next 50 days, let the audience decide.
Don LeBatard.
Did you know that Jose Canseco's finger fell off during a poker game?
We did a good show today, man.
68% of the audience said no. That's all we got today.
Is that all?
Our job is done.
Stugats.
That's a quality program we put together.
Good job, everyone.
This is the Don LeBatard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Dominique Foxworth giving the Straight Talk is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts.
Let's get to the polls here at LeBatard Show. Our thanks to Dominique Foxworth for sitting in all day with us. I have failed to get to any of Dominique's topics, so maybe I will do so 30 seconds at a time this last segment of the show. Mike, can you help me with something? Somebody yesterday... I went to the Heat game with the Detroit Pistons. I was very jealous of the relationship that Stan Van Gundy has with my father. Stan Van Gundy was not happy in any way to see me. 3 times he walked past me, and I'm like, Stan, what's up? Like, we're friends. We're friends. He just stormed past me because they lost, and he's miserable. Mm-hmm. And then he sees my father. And he lights up, and it's more joy than I've seen from the president of the Pistons in 3 years.
Your dad makes people happy.
No, but he doesn't even know my father. Like, he's never met my father before. It was just seeing him on television, and Stan doesn't smile. But something else that happened is someone I thought was a Piston came over and was like, I love the show. I get the show. Like, can I take a picture with you? And he's big and he's white, and I don't know who he is. And I'm not sure that he was a Piston. I think he was a Piston because he was...
Boban?
No, him I would know. If he was 7'5", no, Aaron Baines. Wait a minute, that guy's in Boston now, isn't he?
Is he?
I think Baines is in Boston.
All
yeah.
Right,
let me.
No, I don't know who it was. I thought it was Kyle Singler, but I don't even know. I wouldn't.
You'd know Kyle Singler.
No, Singler was it John Lohr?
I don't know. Lauer?
Is it Lauer? I'm not sure.
I don't know. He was a lot taller than me, so I assumed he was a basketball player, but I have no idea who he was. Anyways, let's update the polls and get to Dominique stuff.
All right, at LeBatard Show on Twitter, is green Jell-O overrated? 69% of the audience said yes. Is red Jell-O the best tasting Jell-O? 66% of the audience said yes.
That's true.
It is. Would you jeopardize your life for a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? A caller called in saying his daughter was... He thinks that she's lying about being allergic to peanuts, and he wants her to eat a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup because she's missing out on life, and we agree. So we were asking if we would jeopardize
I really
our
don't
lives.
feel like you need to explain this. Would you risk your life?
For me, yeah, it's a weird time for me to explain
This is
something.
the one place where you need to
65% of the audience said no. Moving on. If a couple is having sex in the hallway of a hotel, do you stop and watch or keep walking? 52% of the audience said keep walking. Is Gettleman the biggest gas bag in sports? 65% of the audience said yes. This is the most lopsided one ever, Dan. You're going to laugh at this. Is Stugatz always angling?
I mean, for sure.
97% of the audience said
always
yes.
angling.
3% clicked on
He's
the wrong
angling
thing.
to replace Trey Wingo. We all know it.
Is Stugatz an honorary Golic? 68% of the audience said yes. Is Stugatz the second biggest personality in the history of ESPN? 59% of the audience said yes. 41, you can leave comments, said no, he's the biggest personality in the history of ESPN. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you guys want to keep doing this with Chris Sims for the next 50 days? 76% of the audience said yes. Those are the polls.
You just while Stu is doing the polls, Mike is in the other room scrolling through pictures of white Pistons.
Of white Pistons, yes. It was like seeing in the police station. It was just
like a police lineup.
It was a police lineup of white Pistons, and I was shaking them off like a catcher. Like, no, that's not the white guy. And then I'd be like shaking my head would be the side. That kind of looks like the white guy.
Did you show him Luke Kennard?
I thought it might be Kennard. That's who I thought it might be.
I did, and he shook me off.
No, but it looked like a thinner Luke Kennard. It might have been Luke Kennard's brother, who was also tall.
Henry Ellenson was our clubhouse leader because that was the one that you were least sure
I
about.
don't think it. I don't know who it was. Not
that guy?
No, it's John Lauer at all.
Why does this matter?
Well, it matters because I knew from what was happening with me right there and in the entire exercise we're doing why it is that the president of the Detroit Pistons is not going to win anything meaningful. Because I couldn't tell whether the guy who was saying hello to me, who was a fan of the show, as an alleged expert in sports, was actually someone who played on his team or not.
You sure it wasn't Boban?
No, I'm positive. Boban I
sure?
would recognize. Boban I would recognize because he's 7'5" and magical. Anyways, let's get to Dominique's thoughts. We have a minute and a half left in the show, so 15 seconds per thought. Marvin Lewis is doing his job. His job was not to win.
Yeah, it appears to me everyone's upset, but Marvin Lewis is there to keep that team respectable while they can keep payroll low. They're not necessarily looking to win a championship.
I think Stephen A. Smith was talking to me as one of your topic items. Talking to you about what?
So when Stephen A. went off yesterday, I told you guys about that, and it was we thought it was aimed at Gruden. When I listened to it more closely, it might have been aimed at me because I did First Take at the end of the year, and I called Stephen A. out at the end of the show, so he might be talking to me.
Huh? All right.
Wow. All right.
You missed our audience. You've got beef with all of Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma was mad at me because I said that they were going to lose, and I forgot how I'm in this atmosphere so often, and your kind of fans get the show. I forgot how seriously people take sports, but I won. So this guy, OU Barstool, at OU Barstool, you guys should go follow him because I won the game in the bet. So I forced him to change his avatar. Go appreciate his avatar. And we're like raising some money for some Oklahoma charities.
You saw people having sex in the hallway of the Clevelander here as you came into work today.
Whoa, I didn't say it was a Clevelander. It was just a hotel.
It was a nameless hotel.
It wasn't today. It was New Year's Eve, and I just didn't know how, like, I was shocked. I got off the elevator, doing it.
I'm sorry about that.
Baby.
Just right in the hallway on the floor?
Yeah.
Is this Avatar Quavo holding up a Later Sooners newspaper?
Yeah. So this OU Barstool, at OU Barstool, everyone follow him and go check it out and see his avatar.
He wouldn't do what I wanted. I wanted Charles Thompson in an orange uniform selling crack on the cover of Sports Illustrated.